And thanks. Okay, I've got 4:30.
Yep.
And are we about ready to start the meeting? How many do we have in team this world?
Hello,
Hello, that sounds like Manette, right?
it is.
Good, glad to have you on board. How many do you count, Rogelio, in the participants?
I count three. I count
Three?
Jake Carroll, Robin, and then.
Manette. And Manette, okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do have 4. That's good to know. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Very good. Welcome, one and all. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. Meeting called to order. I'm glad to have you guys here. Hope you're all having a happy 2025. So we're going to be well and alive in 2025. And so we're going to start first off with the roll call. And Cheryl, would you like me to take care of that for you?
I've got it here.
Okay, very good. Take it away.
Okay, Doris. Don't see her yet. She had emailed that she was going to try to come in virtually. So I'll see
Yeah,
what
that's
question
good.
her. Ray,
Here.
EJ Carroll,
Yes, I'm here. Can
welcome.
you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we have a better mic situation. Are we coming in for you?
Okay.
so Louise Eden is ill and Craig Eden as well. Same bug. Madeline,
Is Madeline here?
I don't see her on screen.
Okay. Now, interrupt me and let me know when somebody comes in, if you would, please, on the list, on the Zoom, the Teams. Yes, thanks.
Oh, yeah, it's not saving now.
Robin Gosling
Yes, here.
is present.
I don't know.
Chris Jones,
Here.
Judy Jones,
Here,
John Norman is ill, I believe.
doctor's appointment.
Okay, out. Monette,
Here,
He's here.
all right. Dick Phillips,
Here.
Valerie Rose, I believe is excused. I don't see her on. the board.
Yes, she is.
Dave Stevens,
Here.
Daniel, but I don't see him on the board or in the room. Okay. And Irene is not here and I
Correct.
believe she's not going to be able to make it tonight. And I just see Madeline. Madeline, are you present?
Can you hear us, Madeline?
Madeline, it looks like you're on mute. I think it's at the top of your screen. Unmute.
Do you want me to unmute?
You can be unmuted as long as there's no background noise.
Looks like Madeline is here.
Okay, so if you can unmute Madeline, that would be awesome, depending, unless there's background noise or whatever, but we are glad to have you. And I think that takes care of the role. And of course, is our CEO going to be joining us today?
I think she's going to try.
Okay, very
Not
good.
here yet.
And we, of course, appreciate you, Cheryl, very much. So do we have any guests today? I know we've got a speaker. And
Speaker, yes.
yes, we do. And I want to thank Rogelio for coming. He's always very constant and present, and he's been very quiet, and I'm bad for not acknowledging him like I should have been. So we appreciate Rogelio for what he does. And you're a friend of the CAC, and you're always welcome. Okay, so we do have a guest speaker, and we'll introduce Do you want to introduce your name and who you are for everybody?
I am Joel Bennett, and I'm the paratransit eligibility technician.
Great, and I've had occasion to work with Jo, and she helps me figure out various things. She's great to work with, and we appreciate her a lot, especially in the paratransit sector there. Do we have anyone needing to make a public comment at this time? Hearing no public comments, we'll go ahead and move on. December meeting minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Everybody got the minutes okay?
Yeah, we're just glancing out.
Now, those of you who received them in the mail, did you get them in time for the meeting?
I did, yes.
Okay. Okay,
I didn't
Um,
get the agenda.
Manette,
I didn't get the agenda.
you did not?
No.
You know, it was on holiday. So probably snuck down the mail.
You did not get the agenda in time. So, okay, the agenda came out in the email, of course, on Wednesday last week. If I'm not am I correct? Yeah, on that. And so yeah. So apparently that didn't give you enough time to receive it, right?
Remember, there was a holiday, with no mail delivery in that time.
Yeah, there were 2 holidays this.
There was, yeah, that's true. There was one that where packages were gonna be delivered, but there was no mail. That's true. So hopefully that won't happen next month. And I apologize about that. Anyway, going on, do we have any additions or corrections, or would someone like to bring forward a motion on the minutes?
Minutes, good.
Does anyone want to bring a motion forward?
I move that we accept them as printed here.
I didn't second it.
Okay, been moved and seconded, the minutes be approved as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
Oh, Daniel just arrived.
Daniel, great to have you, and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and you're having a good New Year.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
You and your family for sure, yeah. Okay, so
Yes, thanks.
Sure. Next coming up, we do have a special guest speaker. And she just introduced herself a little while ago, Jo Emmett. And so, Jo, with this introduction, I'll switch it over to you.
My name is Jo, and I am the paratransit eligibility tech. And I met with you guys, I think, close to 2 years ago. And we were talking about the client portal. We were getting ready to launch it. We've been running it since then. Shortly after I spoke with you, we got it active. Judy was working with it at the time, helping to work out some of the kinks with that. It's been really a great tool. I feel like our client portal has really opened up some of the scheduling for people at home. If you are calling in to us, you've got the limited hours, but this you can work with from home 24 hours, except for next day rides. I think that this has been opened up things for our facilities, Life Care, Mira Vista, Ovenels, things like that, because they're busy during the day. They're taking care of people. And then you have somebody early in the morning or the evenings that can take care of the bookies. Just kind of wanted to touch bases and let you guys know that that's been a great compliment to our scheduling department.
Why did, there's some people that are brand new, if their new paratransit is not a service that they've used. So if you want to start from the very basics.
So, excuse me if I can interrupt a little bit. This team system is new, and I want to make sure all of our people outline can hear. Can you all hear, Jo? In the conversation?
Robin's saying yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
So people that use paratransit are on a reservation-based service. You have to call in at least 24 hours in advance. and reserve your rides. We run during the same hours as the fixed route for the areas that you live. The client portal is a way that people can reserve that without having to call our scheduling line. They can do it themselves. It works great with sight impaired people, hearing impaired people. It's a nice way that they can work that out on their own schedule. Again, like I said, the facilities, Washington Vocational is a big one. They help to teach their students how to book their own rides as they transition out to the world.
It's a smaller vehicle.
Smaller vehicles, still fully accessible, just like our regular vehicles.
So I think they're 22 feet long.
They seat anywhere from 10 to 13 people. 2 to 4 wheelchair stations.
They're a nice ride, I hear.
But that is what my brother takes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They pick him up and take him to the dialysis.
Yes.
But he calls the scheduling every day. I'm not familiar with the other that you're talking about, but since I've never used it.
For people that have dialysis, if you have a regularly scheduled appointment, like dialysis, physical therapy, cancer treatments, going to the gym for classes, we set up a subscription ride, which means then they don't have to call in. It is just set up automatically. It's always on the request until you call and say, I don't want this anymore.
That would be good because he missed Monday and for the fall Sunday to schedule it. So he missed it
I
Monday.
think I know what you're talking about.
So,
So, yes, I have a note today to the schedulers that, hey, offer this, so
Yeah.
they'll be getting set.
Okay.
No problem. He was on it before, yes, yeah.
That's good because they always said, well, you have to call 24 hours before. You can't schedule more than time.
You can schedule up to a week in advance,
Okay.
7 days out. But what happens with that, because it is reservation based, we put our paratransit routes together the night before. So right now, somebody was just finishing up, putting together tomorrow's routes. They're pretty tight, because they're reservation based, it's like Tetris. You put that together, so then if it's the day of travel and you need a ride that day, it's hard to put somebody.
Yeah. But I think he is scheduled, I know it's scheduled for tomorrow. I think he is Friday.
Yes.
So-
I was just checking.
My other brother's on vacation and I'm running between work and nights and back and forth.
Yeah,
Everything's good.
We'll get taken care of.
Each one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have a question also. Does I'm retired, so I'm not worried about this now, but does paratransit have a standing ride for those who are working? But if say you're going from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or whatever the hours are, where once you've got that set up, they're automatically on that pickup?
Yes,
That's great.
yes. It is a great service. We have a lot of people, like I said, not just medical appointments, but going to physical therapy, the gym, if you have a regular class. We have
Oh,
students
so you
that
can
use
get
it for
that.
school or college, yes. If it's the same day, same times, every time, it can be set up on that subscription service.
Oh, and that's what you call it, a subscription?
Subscription or standing, we call it.
Okay.
Close.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's a great service. One of the things that Skagit Transit offers is we don't deny rides. So we can have a higher level of subscription versus demand rides. Demand is when people call in. So if we can have a little bit higher level of that.
So how do you set that up? Is that through scheduling or?
Yeah, so you would give me a call in the eligibility. And once we see that somebody's consistently doing that, now we've had people that call in and say, I want to have this for going to church every Sunday. So I look back at their record and go, well, you've been scheduling, but you've been canceling them all. So if you have a high cancellation rate, we're not going to carry that subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah. we
And of
want
course,
to
see,
see that.
these people change it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know, but I don't know. You said they're gonna offer that.
I am. I have a note out for my schedulers to offer that on Friday. I'll be sending that.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, when we return. And even though you might have a subscription that's for a short length of time, for classes, for instance, the college students, they're going during this quarter, and then in a couple of weeks, they're going to change it because this class is ended. You can still do that.
Yeah, we set him up probably weekly because it changes a lot.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they rework everything as people go, "Oh, well, I need this instead."
but we just call scheduling, they'll know. what
Yeah,
to
they'll
do.
send notes to me.
He still does that. So
Yeah.
Judy, we.
Has everyone here seen a paratransit bus? You all know what the paratransit buses are like.
Do now.
Oh, yeah, little box fan with windows.
There might be one that comes up during our meeting that might.
I mean, yes, it's like with the smaller. I mean, they have, are all of us big coaches, just the paratransit or the smaller ones, or do they have smaller regular routes?
So the paratransit vehicles are the smallest of the fleet, I guess you would say, yeah. And they're called cutaways.
Okay,
Term.
yeah,
Mhm.
because that's the only thing I've seen for paratransit, which I'm assuming is a little easier if you don't have 25 people.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because the paratransit is curb to curb, so you're actually going to people's homes
Oh,
as
yeah.
opposed to the fixed route that has a general bus stop area. And so we've got a little bit more flexibility where we can get into with those paratransit.
Yeah, because he's done a hotel, and we used to get him right there,
Right.
but his home actually had his space number.
Mhm.
Homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get right through there. There are some areas we may not be able to get into because of fencing or trees or things like that. We always work with people and go, well, we can't quite get there, can you meet us right here? And we always try to work out an alternate so that we can get to people the transportation that they need.
Yeah,
Okay, and then I have another paratransit eligibility type related question. Could you explain that process, the time it takes? Say someone calls and says, hey, I've heard about some kind of a dial ride, something, what can you tell me about it? Can you walk us through that process?
Sure. Usually the question about paratransit is, am I eligible? We have to have the application that tells us what their conditions are. The main thing is, are you able to ride the fixed route without assistance? We have a lot of people that, they can ride the fixed route, but they always have to have somebody travel with them. Where paratransit gives them a little bit more freedom from that. They can take the paratransit. They don't have to worry about the schedules. They don't have to worry about accessibility at the different bus stops. And paratransit is going to take over that. We're looking at all sorts of different medical histories and accessibility with wheelchairs. From your home to the bus stop, there may not be curbs, cutaways, all of that. You've got those safety issues, wheelchairs, tilting, things like that. So we get the application, we process it, we look at what the needs might be for this person. Is it temporary? Are they going through physical therapy because they've had surgery or an injury? Or is it going to be long-term? And we're talking about dialysis and like that. So we go through all that process and then we determine what level of eligibility they will have. Is it conditional? You can only use it for your cancer treatments or your dialysis, or only for going to get groceries. Because you're using a walker, you're going here and there on the fixed route, but when you have to carry groceries, you need a little bit more assistance.
And then if a person's qualified and we talk to them, they can get a UMO card, our electronic fare card, that they can use where they can pay with cash when they get on board.
yeah, he pays with cash. That's good. I was gonna ask about a car.
Yes.
The card is really convenient, so then they don't have to worry about needing the dollar bills, because our drivers can't make change, they don't carry the cash to make change.
And then say someone turns in an application. Now, the application can be done in so many ways. I know that we got some help filling out our application. Of course, we had to sign them, but if they're online, you can get them printed. You do a really great job on making sure that the information is accessible for people.
Yes, we do have the electronic submission on our website, the PDF that they can print in both, and all of this is in English and in Spanish. If you need assistance with filling out the application, we have Sue Libby, who is our travel trainer. She also does the assessments for paratransit. If you have any question about what somebody's abilities are between the fixed route and the paratransit, she'll do a phone assessment or an in-person assessment. But she'll come right out and she will meet that person, sometimes at their homes, but mostly right here at Skagit Station and or even at the admin office, and she helps them fill out that application.
Yeah, it's wonderful and it's appreciated. And can you tell me, is there a turnaround time between when that application is handed in as to when they can expect to hear the results?
Yes, so it's 21 days. Once we get that application, we have 21 days from the date it's stamped, unless we need to do a site assessment, meaning having a supervisor take a bus out and check that home, check the access to picking up that person at their home at the curb. If we need to do the in-person assessment or a phone assessment. And if we don't get all the information that we need, part of the application is a medical release form. That is optional if somebody wants to fill that out. It's not required, but if we don't get the information we need, we may have to deny as, not deny, make that unable to process. I don't have enough information. But if they do sign that, we do have the option of sending a paper out to their physician and asking for additional information. At that point, I do date it and tell the physician I need this back within 30 days, or we will not be able to process the application. So that pushes that back a little bit. But once we have all of the information we need, physical or phone assessment, site assessment for the coaches, anything from the doctors, then we have 21 days to date a letter of acceptance or denial to that person.
One thing I want to speak to that really helped me on this eligibility, everything. There was one point where when one of our daughter needed one of the granddaughters picked up from school, asked if we could do it on paratransit. So found out what the school was, the address, called it in, found out the school wasn't listed yet. It just was not on the map of service at this point. And so I talked to Joy and said, "Hey, Joe, what do you think about this?" And as I recall, it was slated to be in a development. It was like a developing service area, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
was a new building development, so the
Right.
housing communities that are being built, they aren't geocoded on our maps because our maps are, we draw them as we go, essentially. So we don't build right, we don't connect right directly to Google Maps or the Skagit GIS maps or anything like that. So we have to add that, which was the deal with that school. Even though it had been there, we had nobody requested before, so we had to add it into the maps. Yeah.
And it wasn't even 2 days later until I got the affirmative that, yes, we can take you there. And I am on record for being the first bus in Skagit Transit bus in flying to that school. So that was a great thing to have happen. But one other question, can you speak to the different eligibility categories?
So we have a couple different levels. We will have the full eligibility, meaning you can go anywhere you want. You can go to restaurants, grocery stores, medical appointments, church. You can go to a friend's house. We do ask for a little bit notification on that in case we do need to go and look at that, see what accessibility we have for our coaches. So anything goes. The conditional would be, like we're talking about, somebody that can get around on the fixed route, but they have difficulties when it comes to carrying groceries or going to the laundromat, or they use it for everything, but the fatigue of dialysis or other treatments, they need a ride there and back. That would be conditional. And then we have one where the conditional, we kind of mix with the fixed route too. And travel training is available for all of that. Sue will show you how to use the fixed route and then how to supplement that with the paratransit services.
Yeah, another way that I really appreciate the conditional is being blind. Chris and I, we can take fixed route, which is not a problem. But where we appreciate riding paratransit is that not all bus stops are get to them, either because of lack of pedestrian crossings or too much traffic, this kind of a thing. They're just not available, easy to get to. So that's appreciated.
as well as the familiarity. Once you've been somewhere a few times and you're familiar with it, like here, getting in and out of the building and things like that. Some people just need a little bit of help learning that. We have, like our students, that's one of them too, as they're learning to get out there in the world, they will use the paratransit in a fixed route until they become comfortable traveling on their own.
It's great. And people with temporary disabilities, also like if you broke your leg,
Yes,
can also.
yes.
Are there any other questions for Joe regarding paratransit?
I have one. So, when someone qualifies, how long do they qualify for? And if they're not using the service, what happens in that?
If it's somebody that's temporary, we do look at what the general healing process is. And then we kind of pad that a little bit in case things aren't going well with physical therapy, we'll just put that out a little bit. If it's something that's permanent, depending on a lot of the answers that we get, if they're supplementing with family and they're not really sure when we're talking to them if they're going to use the service, we may just do it for a year or two, just see, or do they really want this service, or are they being told, oh, you need to sign up for this? And we get that a lot from people, oh, they told me I needed to do this, but I think I'm gonna continue driving myself. The maximum we can go with our eligibility is 5 years. We'll go out 5 years, and at that point, we require a new application. Things change, phone numbers change, emergency contacts change, conditions change, physical conditions of people change. And they may not, they call us and say, no, I'm using a walker instead of a cane now, I need to lift. The drivers don't always pass that on to us. And that, when we have that information, it affects the time that we allot when we arrive. If they're using a mobility device, it takes a few more minutes. Well, if we don't have that information, we may sort of domino and get behind on that route. So we want that information up front. So anywhere from 3 months to 5 years for an eligibility duration.
We do a pretty good job of being on time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're talking about if somebody doesn't use it. If we give them 5 years of eligibility and they don't use it that whole time, we're not even gonna know it until it comes time to renew it. It's just at that point, let's say, okay, well, they haven't used it. We're still going to send out a notification, you're getting ready to expire. We send it one out 60 days before expiration and 130 days, we send out a second notice. If I get a return mail at that point, I'm not going to send out a second one. They probably moved during that 5 years and just didn't let us know.
Okay, very good. Any more questions for Joe?
This is Madeline. I have one.
Hi, Madeline.
Hi. I just wanted a clarification on the temporary one, like the broken leg example. Can that be escalated so they don't have to wait 21 days to get transportation to somewhere they need it?
Yes, most of our applications get processed a lot faster than the 21 days. Generally, depending on how much information is on the application, we can have it done within 24 hours. That's what's really nice. What pushes it out is if we have to do a physical assessment or a site assessment.
Thank
But
you.
yes, it can go a lot faster than 21 days.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah, yeah, and regardless of what the condition is, whether it's something that is going to be temporary or something long-term, doesn't really affect how long the processing takes, simply because of mainly the site assessments that need to be done, because we live in a very rural area, so we've always got to make sure that the traffic lanes are clear, the driveway, we've got some really long driveways and things like that.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for Joe?
We want to thank you.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you. They haven't gotten rid of the sad face thing on the text, in the text. They put the in parentheses, the parentheses along with the colon, and it looks like a sad face. When they send out the text. Yeah, it's funny, but thank you so much for presenting. We appreciate you coming.
Questions?
Sure.
I'll feel my time.
Yes, and thank you very much. Yeah, at this time, I want to recognize that we do have a guest. We appreciate you coming. Our public comment is usually at the very beginning of the meetings, which starts 4:30. But what I'd like you to do, if you would, is to state your name so we know who you are and to actually give us some information on a sign-up sheet that we've got. Some of us are around a little bit after the meeting, as we get out, and we'd love to talk to you at that point, but let us know who you are, please.
That me?
Are you our visitor that walked in the middle?
I am the sir, yes.
You're the one, and please state your name.
I'm Thomas, and just was interested in being a little bit more involved in my community and thought I would pop in here a little bit late, albeit, and learn a little bit more about the public transit system. So thank you guys for having me this afternoon.
You're the kind of people we like to hear.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so what, again, I would encourage you to put your information on the sign-up sheet. And Cheryl is a statutory transit employee, and she actually takes the sign-up sheet and I'm CAC chair, so I'll get that information too. But we want to follow up with you. We want the CAC to have friends that come in and, you know, our membership slot is full, but you can come participate and learn. The only thing you couldn't do is vote, but you can certainly participate, and we'd love to have that.
I don't think I really appreciate that.
Sure. So, yeah, you sure do your sign-up sheet and just know.
Thank you.
Good. All right. So next up, we've got the CAC virtual meeting change. So Cheryl, are you covering this?
Broke you, no shopping.
So that's
Okay, so let's do it.
All right, so, making the change in 2025 from Zoom to Teams. Team meetings to be exact, it was kind of a last minute thing. So it's a new platform, it has the same features as, Zoom. It's just a little different layout, so we're testing it today. So we appreciate any questions or feedbacks that you guys have on this, the CAC members that are online. So if you guys have anything, let us know and we'll work on it for the next meeting. If you guys have any questions regarding to this, please let us know and we'll get those answered as soon as we can.
Well, I have to tell you, for one, I am overjoyed, tickled pink, everything, that we're not dealing with those microphones.
Oh, yes.
I can't tell you how delighted I am about that. So those of you who are out in the Teams world rather than the Zoom world, how is this seeming to work for you guys? Anyone want to speak up and let us know how this seems to be going?
I'm using it for the first time today and it seems to be working fine. I'm not seeing any problem.
How is the voice quality, the speech quality where you are? Is it fading in and out? Is it clear? Because the miking is just totally different now.
Yeah, it's clear. I'm just having trouble to see how many people are there. It was easy in Zoom. There was a section where it shows how many people, but I still have to navigate on this and study it.
I think that we can change our seating a little bit in the future too, maybe get closer together or something like that, but I'm really glad to hear this. Anybody else have any Teams question?
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
It says my mic is enabled, so
Yes.
I'm having a difficulty with the clarity of the voices in that it seems like there's an echo. And I didn't notice that with the Zoom. I always heard very clearly.
Okay, so you are getting a voice echo. All right. Is that anything that you know how to address, okay, Neil?
That's because we're in the room and it echoes. We're in the process of getting new microphones that actually work. So, yeah, so it might change over the next couple of weeks depending on how fast we get the microphones working. We're gonna get new ones. So thank you for that feedback. We'll bring it back to our supervisor so we can get this situated.
Okay, any other Teams questions? If not, let's, oh, Lynette?
This is Minette. I was going to say I second what Robin said. I've had some trouble understanding the conversation and I couldn't understand the name of the speaker.
The speaker was Joe Pimmont. She's listed on the, well, and you didn't get the agenda, but her name is Joe Pimmont, P-E-M-A-N-T. And she works in eligibility and paratransit.
And it's
Um,
Pennant. Pennant?
Another question?
P-E-N-A,
P-E-M-A-N-T.
okay, great. And it's
All right.
spelled like Jane.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Now we're getting into the February long-range transit plan presentation. And is our CEO present with us?
I don't see her in the, on monitor.
Okay, so are you in a position to be able to say anything about that, Cheryl? Did she give out notes or anything?
There will be a consulting team, they'll be doing it by teams next month in February. So they'll be attending the CAC meeting next month, February, and they'll be doing it through the same platform you're using today, Teams.
Yes. And I think that's really great. And I want to tell everybody, knowing that they were coming in February, last meeting, I kind of perseverated on a couple of issues that have been ongoing for a long time. But I was really hoping that our CEO would take notes on, which she did, and that would definitely get to the planners. They met with us last February, it was a year ago February. And what I'm wanting to find out is what has been done with what we turned in since last year, like where's that gone? I want to follow up with that, without perseverating like we did, but I was trying to use the time window to the best of our advantage. So anyway, we can expect them, have your questions ready for them when they come, and these are service questions, for instance, route questions, area questions, things that you haven't really got satisfactory answers for, just because we didn't know yet, or because we haven't heard back from the consultants. Next month is the time to do it, so our homework is gonna be to put our questions together and just be ready to ask them, make the best use of their time next month.
All right.
Okay, any more questions on the long range? Well, is there anything else to present, Cheryl, on the long range transit plan that you know of? Okay, if not, we are gonna move forward into there's just a notation here that the November CAC meeting falls, this is November 2025, of course, on holiday. So we're gonna be meeting Wednesday night, the 12th, November the 12th. Wednesday night, November 12th.
Almost a year.
Yeah, we're in the next fall, 2025. This is number, yeah, on your agenda is number 8, it's Roman numeral 8. Yeah, so the note. Well, I did the same thing, I looked at that, I'm like, what Wednesday night? And I'm thinking, oh, wait, that's way after November.
Something out, tell us.
Yeah, you know, that's right. Yeah, this is the heads up to do something about your calendar. One thing that's also coming up next fall, I want to let you know that's not on here, is, that really wasn't, figured out last month, is there is going to be a board retreat. And it's going to be held in the conference room, I think 2.5, 3 hours. But it's where the board is working on issues that they want to handle and how they want to handle them in the coming year. And like I said, this is a public meeting. I did not know the board retreats were public meetings.
Meetings. I think we were invited to it.
Okay,
Wine and chocolate.
public events, I'll say, public events. Okay, but the thing, what I'm getting at is they're looking at any time between late September and through October. I don't have the dates in front of me, they were just sent out yesterday. But,
You said that was a public.
in the fall, it's gonna be in the fall, right, and in fall of 2025, and as that gets closer, it's gonna be here in this conference room, like I said, so if we could have people come. We don't, I asked about this, I said, is this where we can come and collaborate and converse and everything? Well, they actually hold it, we can attend, but it's like the board meetings, we don't have anything that
We have to
say.
be quiet.
But you know where we get our licks in is before the meeting start or the retreat starts and afterward, everybody's finishing. That's where we go around and like, oh, hey, this, that, and this. So anyway, that would be a good thing to try and attend if we can. Now, next coming up, I'm just whipping through here. CEO and staff report. So our CEO is not here to do that yet, correct?
Correct, but I can pitch.
You can do it. All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Go for it.
Okay, so I have some ridership figures for this last month of December. And on fixed route, we carried 37,500 people.
That was per month.
Yeah.
Oh,
Per month. In December. And for paratransit, we carried 5,575 in December.
wow.
Good Lord.
Very good. Does she have any comparisons as to,
I can tell you what, the same month a year prior, you'd like to.
Train, hang on just a second. Station identification.
Hello?
Wow, okay, thanks, Train. We can resume.
Faster.
All right, so Cheryl, I'm sorry.
So, to compare that to December of 2023, it was 36,000, that were on fixed route in 2023. And for paratransit in 2023, it was 5,350.
Interesting. It's nice to just know those basic figures, so,
I mean, these are all up from, you know, Kareem
yeah.
times and everything.
We're coming in slow and show, yeah.
How does the Watcom Transit on the trips to Dillingham, are they in that count or not?
Yes, they are in the count.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all passengers on that route, they're being carried.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you again to see if anybody has any other ridership update questions. And if not, let's go on to Dave's question on the fun fact.
Okay, I dug this up. So, in the state of Washington, on public transit in the year 2023, that's last year, transit carried 15 million youth as a result of youth being able to ride free.
Wow.
Yay!
So it's definitely moved the needle.
That was statewide.
Statewide, yeah, and then if you add in Washington State ferries, which are also, they walk on free, it's 16.5 million rides, 2023.
Very, very, boy, that's a fun fact that ought to be publicized, big time. That's great. That really, really is great. And we have a new operator class coming apparently?
Yes, that's correct. So there are 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers that are on in the new class.
And when does that begin?
It begins at the end of no, the end of January.
Okay, when do have they started yet?
No,
They start, I get, yeah, so when do they start?
the last week of January.
Okay. Well, very good to know.
Are we almost full of drivers, or do they still need more? I mean, what's our situation?
I think we will always be welcoming drivers.
So I can put it in the application.
Go for it, honey.
Okay.
I'll be your first writer.
You're not.
I already work in eligibility, that's what I'm,
Yes,
You're
yes.
not 21 years old.
you're right. Yeah.
He's over 21, qualified.
Kidding.
You can't reach the heavens.
Okay, Board of Directors approved for the year 2025. They approved the CAC slate of officers. Thank you, board, very much. We didn't get it done in December. December's meeting got lost in the weeds, the recording.
Oh,
Yeah, the December board meeting. So where that's at, we'll never.
Madam Chair, I want to welcome Doris.
Yeah. Gosh, Ray's doing a great job here.
yeah, it's not too.
Thank you. Yeah, you Dave and yeah, this is great. And well, Doris, welcome. Thank you so much. Glad you joined us. We're just going through the middle part of the agenda here in the staff reporting. And like I was saying, they finally did approve the slate of officers, which I was glad. I had to actually, it was quite a lively board meeting for those who attended. And so I had to say, approve the slate. He goes, oh, yes. So, and they did. I'm usually the last to speak. And I could see they're about ready to just 1, 2, 3 jump up. And I said, approve the slate. So we got her done. Okay.
Well, then, Judy.
Now we come to events, the telling an overview of the events.
So, we, attended, at Mount Vernon Commons, an event that was kind of focused for youth. It was just informational more than anything, that day. And January seems to be a popular month for, students to be at the library. I think maybe, I don't know, they just got off spring break or Christmas break, so I'm going to the library to get some fresh reads.
Where's this message, out on the 300?
That was my mistake. We'll get to that. I skipped over it, but we're letting them do her events and then I'll come back up to it. I'm sorry.
The Anacortes had a nonprofit resource showcase, which I attended. It was very hard to talk to people because the acoustics were not ideal. But we were there. And then the Pacific Northwest Veterans, going into an educational piece with them. So these are veterans from throughout Northern Washington. He's speaking. And then the point in time count will be supporting on that. Also, Madison School has a family night and they've asked us to come in. This is a lot of migrant parents that will be connecting with at Madison School. So I think that's everything on the events list.
They did have the memorial. Did you guys notice the memorial for Sean Yim? That was a metro operator that passed away. And they had quite a televised bus lineup, for the funeral procession for this. And I saw this mentioned on the agenda as well.
Yes, with scheduled transit was in the procession.
Okay.
I went down myself. There were 80 different transits. So pretty much every transit in Washington and British Columbia came down to honor him. And they had it at Lumen Field, the actual memorial, and they completely filled the room that was there. You can see all the different transit colors of people who had different, uniforms on.
Yes.
And, the public, quite a few people from the public attended as well.
So where's he based? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, that's right. So he was out of Seattle,
Was it all night?
Did you know him, Nick?
No, I didn't. You know, I've been gone 21 years
Okay,
from there, so
all right,
there's a lot of changes.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, I apologize to you guys, I skipped over this thing. The educational outing that we've been talking about with Route 300. What about that, yes, Sheriff?
So, a date's been proposed, so I just wanted to kind of throw that out and get your feedback. They're talking about June 10th. And June 10th is the same day as the CAC meeting. So, might be able to do both in the same thing, or, you know, it's open to discussion. Your thoughts on that?
I'm not sure when it's.
Tell more about the venue, Cheryl, if you would, please.
Okay, so we, have been invited to go take the Route 300 to shop for.
Oh, okay. It's on here, I just.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned that a month or two.
Yeah,
So that's, they're still, they're talking about.
right, and so.
What date is that?
To June 10th. So, I will continue down that vein if that seems good to everybody.
You know, I'm all for, if we can fit it in, kind of like we did in the senior center. I'm not familiar with that venue, what it offers, what's nearby or anything. But I like the idea is if we could fit in an hour for a CAC meeting somewhere around in there, that would be kind of cool since we're already there. But that's just me. Yes, that's true. That can be done.
That'd be cool, if we did, they're going to let us, they're going to, like, up there
Well,
on their site.
Yeah.
there's a place where the public can go, you can't go any other places, that's all.
And we'll be with people.
I think that was, it's pretty,
We will be with the staff of Job Corps. There'll be a community outreach piece where people from different, like yourselves, will be invited. They'll host some lunch. And then for those that would like to have a little bit of a tour, they'll do a little bit of a tour. Those are real historic buildings in Job Corps. We'll have to stay with the Job Corps staff when that occurs. And then we'll get back on the Route 300 and return back.
That'd be cool.
But you're saying have our meeting at some point, at some time before we get back on the bus?
Yeah,
Somewhere, okay. If we do it that
it is
way.
really interesting because it's open to the public.
Mhm. That's
And
great.
it's, I've been up there and photographed and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I have to, been here.
this is your opportunity.
Yeah, I think it would be good to explore that. Let's just see and keep talking it up as the months go on and see how many people would still like to do that. Does anybody else out there in Teamsville have anything to say?
Well, this is Manette. I live by Northern State, so I'd be interested, but I also couldn't quite understand what this educational event was you're talking about, so I'll email you asking questions about that, Judy.
Sure, and I think it's in our minutes, from, the last minutes that possibly came out. I don't have them in front of me, so I'm not looking, but when Cheryl first introduced the idea, it was to tour the new Job Corps place, because there's a lot of history there. It would be just some place that we could take and go. And, one of the ideas is, do you want to have the meeting, our meeting, since it's on the same day, June 10th, And, you know, depending on what's around, if it can work, if it can coordinate, that might not be a bad idea to do, kind of like we did with the senior center back, like last summer, I think, when we went into Burlington. Yeah, that's just my thought. So, you know, we can keep talking it up. And does anyone have any more questions on that? If not, Cheryl, one thing I would like to propose is I'm always looking for ways to interact with the board. And I was wondering what you all would think about inviting board members to join us on this, any who can, just so they can meet us, be with us, and maybe even attend our meeting, depending on where we have it, depending on if this works. I wonder if there's some way we can collaborate on this with the board. And the reason I'm thinking about this, because I'm always looking about a way to do that. And this would also be a way to get some board members on the bus, which we've never been able to actually work out either. But I'm wondering if we could kind of turn this into a collaboration event. We've got enough time to plan for it.
So I'll have to check with Job Corps. Because this is also Job Corps involved with this. So that's what you're saying.
I'm asking if board, if we could, like, if the board members could come along with us and enjoy this experience with us, plus have a chance to talk to us, be with us, ride the bus, those that can.
So let me check with Job Corps, and see what they have to say about that.
So Job Corps would need to improve board members coming too?
Well,
If they're providing a lunch. Yeah.
Are they providing a lunch?
yes.
I do that.
Yes.
I apologize about that.
So maybe.
Maybe.
Private invite, yeah.
Yeah.
Approved budget.
My apologies, I missed that. I think I was writing and trying to catch up, but, okay. Very good point, good point. Any other questions on this? Let's see. We'll hold it for a minute.
Well, they changed the numbers, so 300 used to be going to Burlington.
Oh, that's inside.
I think they changed those, like when Brad was here, they had some route changes then, how they did that. And then, the transit closure, January 20th, closed. Will the buses be running?
Yes, buses will be running, it's just the hours.
Okay.
They're doing a holiday.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. Next up, we've got some committee reports. Anybody who's writing the connectors, Irene isn't here, but Doris is here. So do you have anything to report as far as any connectors you've written?
Oh, you're muted.
Hi, I don't really have anything new. Just everything I said
Okay.
a million times before.
Yeah, okay. We got that. We got it. I'm glad. I was anxious to figure out if the Whatcom County bus issue with the fare card was resolved, because there seemed to be having some problems with that. And, you know, maybe Valerie can speak to that when she gets back about that. But anyway, I wanted to check this. We're always interested in what's going on with the connector. So, all right. Now we come to the round table. Does anybody have anything they would like to bring up during the round table?
Well, I am still wondering if any official response came in regards to the signing that I suggested on the buses that have alternating routes, because I think that could be highly confusing to someone who's never been on the bus before, and they get on the bus expecting to go one direction and it goes the other. And it would be
Yeah.
so simple to put a sign up there, right by the, simple to put a sign up there, right by the driver and just where they'll see it coming in the door.
Yeah, so, our CEO isn't here, and so are you in a position to answer, do you know anything about that, Cheryl?
Well, I think the reader board changes, but the route number changes on the coach. But maybe the person maybe would look at that. I mean, it's right, it's in several places on the coach.
I don't, does that answer your question? So Cheryl said the reader board changes when the route changes?
Right, when you take the Route 300 from Burlington to Cedar-Woolley and then remain on the bus, it turns into 301 or vice versa, I think. 301 goes from Burlington to Cedar-Woolley now, and 300
Yeah.
goes the circle around Cedar-Woolley. And it confused me
It shows
first
outside.
time, and after that I learned it, that someone who's new to the whole thing can get totally confused and wind up in the wrong place and miss an appointment or whatever.
So Ray was saying that it shows outside the bus
And
and inside, so does that answer, is that answer?
That reader board inside and outside the bus, and when it changes, it shows what it is as soon as it pulls in. It tells you what bus that you're on at that moment.
Maybe it's your ask the driver.
Yeah, you can ask the driver too.
Okay, and go ahead.
I admit I've been taking the paratransit lately, so I haven't monitored, but
Okay,
Paratrains.
all right.
Yeah. reader.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this would be, a good question. Crystal always welcomes, she has an open door policy. She's been good to the CAC and she welcomes contact. So, feel free even to call her and ask her about that. But, Ray was saying they do change. Is it that you just haven't seen them change? Is that what it is?
well, it's possible that it has been changed
Okay.
since I last saw it.
Okay, very good. All right, at this point, it looks like we're at the 5:31 mark, so, unless anyone has anything else to bring up, does anyone want to bring forward a motion to adjourn?
I am once a day. I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting, and I appreciate all of you coming. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned, and we will see y'all in February. And be ready with your homework for the consultants.
Thank you all.
Thank you.